Imagine if one angry tweet could collapse the entire United States. Sounds impossible, right? Well, buckle up because I'm about to tell you the true story of how a single arrogant speech, thought of and delivered over just 3 days, obliterated the most powerful nation in the ancient world and split God's chosen people forever. This isn't just ancient history, this is a masterclass in how pride destroys everything it touches, and why the greatest leaders in history understood one simple truth that an arrogant king forgot completely. These are the types of content I create. If you're interested, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss upcoming videos. The making of an ancient superpower. Let's travel back to 950 BC. The Middle East looks nothing like today's map. Instead of scattered warring tribes, there's one nation that makes every other empire nervous, the Kingdom of Israel under Solomon. But their rise to power started in the most desperate circumstances imaginable. Picture 12 scattered Hebrew tribes living like hunted animals under Philistine brutality. For generations, they were slaughtered, enslaved, and humiliated. Finally, they reached their breaking point and cried out, "Give us a king to rule over us." Enter King Saul, who united them but died tragically in battle. Then came David, the shepherd boy who killed a giant with a pebble and went on to crush every enemy surrounding Israel. Now here's something incredible. Skeptics used to claim David was just a mythical figure. Then, in 1993, archaeologists discovered the Tel Dan Stele, a 9th century stone inscription that specifically mentions the House of David. Real history, not legend. But David's son Solomon took their military victories and transformed them into something unprecedented. An economic empire that controlled the ancient world's most valuable real estate. For sure, your whole body will tremble, your brain will explode, and you will definitely be blown away if you think about Israel's location and influence for a moment. Basically, the ancient superhighway, or the Via Maris trade route, Way of the Sea, connecting Africa, Asia, and Europe, ran straight through their territory. Every merchant, caravan, or ship had to pay Solomon's customs fees. Every year, King Solomon received over 25 tons of gold. In addition to the taxes paid by merchants, the profits from trade, and tribute paid by the Arabian kings and the governors of the Israelite districts. Gold was everywhere, from shields and thrones to drinking cups and household items. Silver was so abundant it was considered almost worthless, showing gold's great abundance. Solomon's wealth came from tribute, trade, and alliances with neighboring kingdoms, such as with King Hiram of Tyre and the Queen of Sheba. This immense wealth marked a golden age in Israel's history, with gold symbolizing prosperity, power, and divine blessing in Solomon's reign. This wealth made gold common in Israel during Solomon's time. Archaeological findings reveal extensive copper mining and smelting in the 10th century BCE, suggesting significant logistical organization to support large workforces, indicative of advanced societal structures during Solomon's era. These weren't small operations, they were industrial-scale mining complexes that supplied copper throughout the known world. He partnered with King Hiram of Tyre, whose Phoenician sailors were legendary explorers. Together, they launched trading expeditions to mysterious places like Ophir, returning with gold, ivory, exotic animals, and precious timber. With his immense wealth, Solomon constructed the temple in Jerusalem, an architectural marvel adorned with abundant symbols of opulence and power. Solomon's temple was lavishly overlaid with roughly 22 to 25 tons of gold. The Bible says, "Silver was as common as stones in Jerusalem, and the glory of the Lord filled his temple." You may be missing out on good stories you didn't know you needed. You need good content, but you're not sure where to find it. Your time is gold. Do you want to waste it? If you don't listen to us, you won't have anything to impress your friends with at your next gathering. The seeds of destruction. But here's where success became a poison pill. Solomon's administrative genius contained a fatal flaw that would destroy everything. To manage his vast empire, Solomon created an efficient system. He divided the kingdom into 12 tax districts. Each district was required to supply the royal court with massive quantities every year for 1 month: fine flour, fat oxen, sheep, deer, fowl, and much more. The district governors, each in his month, supplied provisions for King Solomon and all who came to the king's table. They ensured that nothing was lacking. This was a form of taxation and resource allocation to maintain Solomon's royal court and projects. Sounds reasonable, right? This taxation policy reflects Solomon's centralized and powerful administration, but also sowed seeds of division after his death. Solomon imposed forced labor on the Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites, non-Israelites who remained in the land. However, he did not conscript Israelites as slaves. Instead, they served as soldiers, officials, and governors. This system allowed Solomon to construct the temple, his palace, fortified cities, and support various projects throughout the kingdom. Here's a telling detail. Solomon spent 13 years building his personal palace, but only 7 years constructing God's temple. 1 Kings 6:38, 1 Kings 7:1. What does that reveal about his true priorities? There are those who believe in every whisper, and there are those who don't seem to bother much. The question is, what can we gain from this? The spiritual disaster. Solomon's intellectual pride led to his spiritual downfall. Despite being history's wisest man, he made a catastrophically foolish decision. He married 700 wives and kept 300 concubines, mostly from pagan nations. This wasn't romance run wild. It was calculated political strategy. Each foreign wife sealed a peace treaty with another nation, but God had explicitly warned, "You shall not intermarry with them, for they will turn away your heart after their gods." Kings 11:2. Solomon's fatal mistake: he thought his superior intelligence made him immune to spiritual corruption. To please his pagan wives, Solomon built shrines to demonic gods, Ashtoreth, Chemosh, Milcom, literally within sight of God's holy temple. These sites were geographically positioned to be visible from the temple of the Lord. The man who had dedicated the temple to the one true God was now facilitating demon worship. Even though the Lord, the God of Israel, had appeared to Solomon twice and had commanded him not to worship foreign gods, Solomon did not obey the Lord but turned away from him. So the Lord was angry with Solomon. By life's end, a broken Solomon wrote Ecclesiastes with its haunting words: "Vanity of vanities, all is vanity." Ecclesiastes 1-2. The man who possessed everything discovered that without God at the center, it all meant absolutely nothing. If you want to expand your thinking and deepen your understanding, come and let's delve together into meaningful studies and find the answer to the question: is it true? The divine warning. God wasn't about to ignore this spiritual treason. He sent Prophet Ahijah with a theatrical message for Jeroboam, Solomon's supervisor over northern forced labor. In a scene worthy of a political thriller, Ahijah tore his new cloak into 12 pieces and handed 10 to Jeroboam, declaring, "Take 10 pieces, for this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. I am going to tear the kingdom out of Solomon's hand and give you 10 tribes." 1 Kings 11:31. Solomon's response revealed his true character. He immediately ordered Jeroboam's assassination. But the future king escaped to Egypt, where Pharaoh Shishak provided sanctuary. Egypt was playing strategic chess, preferring a divided, weaker Israel as its neighbor rather than Solomon's threatening empire. You're here because you crave the kind of stories most people miss, ones that make you think, assess what you believe, and examine further the world around you. That's exactly what we deliver. We prioritize accuracy, depth, and a passion for uncovering things that matter and make sense. Be the one who knows stories others don't. We're here to help you become that person. We believe it's already within you, and we're just here to pull that out. The 72-hour catastrophe. When Solomon died, his son Rehoboam prepared for coronation. Here's a crucial detail. Instead of being crowned in Jerusalem, the capital, Rehoboam traveled to Shechem. This location choice already telegraphed trouble. The northern tribes were demanding representation. Jeroboam also returned from Egyptian exile. He became the spokesman for the northern tribes and led their delegation to request lighter taxation and labor from Rehoboam. They said to Rehoboam, "Your father Solomon treated us harshly and placed heavy burdens on us. If you make these burdens lighter and make life easier for us, we will be your loyal subjects." For 1 Kings 12:4. This was Rehoboam's defining moment. The entire kingdom's future hung on his response. "Come back in 3 days, and I will give you my answer," he replied. So they left. 1 Kings 12:5. First, he consulted the elderly advisors who had served Solomon. Their counsel was pure wisdom. If today you will be a servant to these people and serve them and give them a good answer, they will be your servants forever. 1 Kings 12:7. But Rehoboam also sought advice from his young friends, spoiled palace elites who had never experienced real hardship. Their guidance was exactly opposite. Show them who controls things. Give them nothing. In our next video, we will continue with the answer of Rehoboam and what it brought to Israel. Thanks for watching, and keep asking the big questions.